Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's up, Freddie? What's happening? What's happening? What's good, y'all? What's good, family? Everybody's good? Yeah, this is Londell. How y'all doing? Everybody's good? I'm looking forward to this little chat we're gonna have here. We're gonna have a chat with a sister, Tiffany Deena Lofton. Sister Tiffany Deena Lofton, and then we're gonna talk later on about some music stuff. We're gonna talk about the Sources music platform probably tomorrow, but tonight we're gonna really get it in. We're gonna really get it in tonight. We're gonna have a real conversation. Y'all want some real conversation? We're gonna really get it in tonight. They got me up on this. Londell is up late night talking. Is going down. We on the eve before an election day. How many people actually are people from the United States in these particular states? How many people here from Florida? I want to see the people from Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania. We're going to have a conversation tonight. It's about to get going. When's the new issue of The Source coming? You want to write? Okay, hit us up. How many people here want to write? All right, how'd y'all like that 21 Savage cover? Who you think should be on the cover next time? Who you think should be on the cover of the next digital cover? Who should be next? Who's your favorite artist coming? Okay. All right, we're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna get it popping right now. I'm gonna talk to Sister Tiffany Deena Lofton from the NAACP. She's a powerful young sister who's doing the work out in the street. We're on the eve of the election 2020, and we want to bring you voices, and we've been bringing you voices all day, all week, for the past 30 to 60 days. And we're gonna have a real conversation. We're about to really have a real conversation. So I hope y'all ready for that. Because this is it. Everything's on the line right now. We don't want to hear anything about, well, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. No, we're going to have a real conversation. Here's a young sister who's very powerful. I mean, definitely introduce you to her platform, but her work speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? Peace, beloved. How are you?
Yo, I'm doing all right, brother. It's good to see you. How you
Good to
doing?
see you. Good. I see that light. I see. Okay. We never. Okay. I heard about you. I see. Okay. I feel it.
Can I show up as my best for the live?
Oh, I see you. I see you. But I not only are you beautiful, you're powerful. You know what I'm saying? I feel the energy. I feel
Thank
the work. I
you.
feel the work. I would feel the work. I was just
Thank you,
kind of
brother.
giving
That
you a
means a
little
lot.
introduction, letting them know, I don't normally be up late night doing no talking, but when it's time to put in the work for the people, I'll be there. I don't care what time it is. And I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name properly, Tiffany.
You
Tiffany
said it
Deena
perfectly.
Lofton.
You said it perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, sister, first of all, thank you for the work you do. You know, I'm like 54, and I remember when I was just used to be the youngest cat in the room, and they used to always try to keep young people out of leadership. They were threatened by us. It was a different time. They didn't accept hip hop at the time. I still fight my brothers and sisters who understand that the pathology and pain that runs through hip hop is a result of the pathology and pain that's through our people and our community, and we can't give up the force. We just got to correct it. And when I see people like you who understand the struggle and the liberation of our people, but also understand the actual cultural times that we're in, and willing to engage folk in even their losses, but to try to empower them so that we can turn their pain into our progress, it just makes my heart actually full. And it makes me feel that the future is going to be brighter, but it's only going to be bright if we put in the work. So I just wanted to thank you, and I want to have a talk with you because you're actually doing the work. But before we get into the work, I want you to just tell a little bit about who you are to this audience, because we're going to run this over and over until past the election, because we got work to do. Because once they're elected, we got to hold them accountable.
Oh, that's when it
So,
begins.
that's what, that's like ground one. Zero is getting them in. Ground
Okay.
zero is getting them in. But
Okay.
I just want folks to know a little bit. Give me the little bit about, the sister that we're looking at and her background, and tell us a little bit about you first, Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Londell. Again, thank you so much for having me. I've been a fan of the source, and listen, I'm from LA, California, originally born and raised. And so it's so necessary for us to have people who capture the truth of our culture and the truth of our stories in power. And so it is a privilege to be here. I'm currently calling you from a hotel, actually, in Detroit. I'm in Michigan. For the last 2 weeks, I've been on a bus, the State of Emergency tour bus hosted by Until Freedom and Woke Vote. We started in Florida, but I joined the bus in Atlanta. We went from Atlanta to Raleigh, North Carolina, to West Philadelphia, to Pittsburgh, now to Detroit. Traveling with a bunch of dope people, like not just sisters and comrades that I have in the movement, but also like coaches of the NBA and educators and artists and rappers and singers. We got young people on the bus. We got parents on the bus.
Nice.
It's really amazing to be here. And so I'm calling you from the hotel room because tomorrow for Election Day, we're going to be in Detroit all day monitoring the polls and make sure our people can turn out. And Michigan is a critical state in this election. I got into this work really easily because, I didn't grow up as an organizer or an activist. I didn't grow up woke. Both my parents actually worked in the movie industry in Los Angeles. And when they got divorced when I was 6 years old, I went from private school and big house to living in a shelter with a single mother and 3 kids. And I'm the oldest. And my mom told me, whatever you do, make sure you go to college and make sure you graduate.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to go to UCLA. I applied, but I didn't get in. And I got into UC Santa Cruz. When I got to UC Santa Cruz, it was all white kids, 18,000 students, 300 of us were Black.
Right.
And I said to myself, okay, well, this is not LA. I fought to get into school because my mama didn't have, she didn't have internet, a car. She didn't have money to help me get into school. I had to do everything on my own. But when I got to school, Londell, the first quarter of my semester, the regents of the school system increased our tuition 32%. I said, well, wait a minute. My mama told me to come to school. I had to fight to get in, and now I'm in, and now you're trying to push me out because you're trying to raise the cost of education. Right. And then I said, well, I'm gonna try to figure out how to fight this because that's not fair. So we went to Sacramento to fight the legislators and the elected officials and say, y'all got to pour more money into education because
now, how old were you then? How old were you?
I was 19.
Okay.
Because I was in my first year in college, and so I said, well, y'all gotta. And I'd never been to Sacramento before. So really, it wasn't me even being conscious. It was me saying, I'm going to take a free trip to Sacramento. That sounds like fun, right? So I'm going to Sacramento, going to the Capitol, and I'm going to learn this new skill to speak with elected officials. That sounds pretty cool. So I did that, fought for them. I said, listen, we got to fight for all the students, especially students of color. And while I'm in Sacramento, during Black History Month, a student at my school hung a noose on my door when I was running for student body president.
Okay.
So 3 things happened. I said to myself, why is it that I had to fight to get into education? Why is it that when I got into education, the school tried to push me out by increasing the tuition? Right. And why is it that even at my school, when I'm fighting on behalf of everybody, even people who don't look like me, there's a student who still to this day remains anonymous. There's a student who decided to threaten my very existence because of the color of my skin. And I ended up winning 3 elections at my college. Again, 18,000 students, 300 of us were Black. I won vice president 2 years in a row, and then I won my presidency my senior year.
Of the student assembly, of the student organization,
of the entire student government, the entire thing.
So that means while you're doing advocacy work, you also that must connotes while you're doing advocacy, you also are able to develop a human connection with folk so that they can actually vote for you, right?
It's a human connection. It's a community building. It's an investment to set an agenda for what should be better at our school. And it's also overall, and it's also the opportunity for us to say, how are we going to make this campus better for the people coming after us?
Now, I want to stop there only because I want for the people who are the activists in our community to understand, as we're trying to make things better for our folk and for each other, to get things effectively done, we need coalition. So we got to figure out how to also get allies and let them feel we're going to help them too, so they can help us. Hello?
That's important. We can't do none of this work on our own. We try to do it on our own and we're not successful. And not only that, a lot of the times our enemy or our objective is the same, right?
And a
It
lot of
might
times.
show up differently, but our
Yeah.
goal is everybody wants to make sure that we have clean water and clean food. Everybody wants to make sure we have access to health care. Everybody wants an education. Everybody wants to make sure they can have a good job. Everybody wants to be able to make sure that when I, as a woman, am in the hospital with my doctor, I can make the best choices for myself. Everybody wants to make sure that their kids are safe walking to and from school. Everybody wants to make sure that we end police brutality, right?
Everybody wants to make sure
mass incarceration.
they feel safe. Everybody wants to make sure that they feel safe, right? Everybody wants to make
That's
sure
it.
that they
That's
feel
it.
good. They feel
That's
good.
it. That's it. That's all we want. We want freedom, love, and peace. All the things that we all believe. And so there shouldn't be a competition for it, right? It's not the black first folks versus the brown folks, the undocumented people versus the people who got citizenship. It's not the Republicans versus the Democrats, because that's a party, right? Like, it is about all of us advancing. And it is clear that we do have opponents. We have people who make those things impossible for us to have. And it is our job to fight those things. And while I was doing all that in college, my name started to spread across the country of this young black girl who was organizing in California. And at the age of 21, I graduated college and moved to DC to be the executive director and president of a national student organization. And I've been living in DC ever since.
Oh, so you're living in DC now?
I'm living in DC.
Okay, yeah, and I think I read about that transition. So congratulations. I mean, so much of your story reminded me of my story when I left out of Bed-Stuy and went in the projects in the hood and went to Cornell University and did the same thing. So I'm glad you're on that bus. Give a shout out to my son and my sister Tamika.
I will.
I was probably one of their first 5 supporter investors. And you know, my sister, she works with me on my work that we do here in Brooklyn and Harlem called Source 360, where we put certain kind of programs in our community. But that's my little sister, and I love her to death. Just tell them I say, hey, they're always on everything that we do. They're my platform. I think they were on my payroll, maybe on it. Whatever they need, they get. That's family.
And that's family. Exactly.
That's family. So really, because we've got a 9 o'clock coming, and I wanted to use your genius and insights really to inspire the people regarding what we're up against tomorrow and what we've been up against, and particularly with the vote, you know, this political apartheid system that we see right now before us. The people on the ground, I'm hearing in Florida that, you know, whether campaign tactics or whatever, I think we got to mobilize a lot more, particularly in Southern Florida and other places. I'm hearing that we don't have enough strength on the ground. We can't take this for granted. In Florida and Pennsylvania, as well as North Carolina, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, everywhere in general. Yeah. But those in particular, from a battleground state position on the ground, I think, you know, I'm hearing that we need to get our people to reach out and pull people to the polls. Give us your sense from being out on the road, on the ground where the people are. Give us your sense of what's happening, not just from a momentum and a feel-good standpoint, but I'm talking X's and O's. What is it feeling like out there on the ground? And what do we need to do this last-minute ditch effort to beyond vote, but to pull people out to vote?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that I'm seeing is, we talked about the spirit of coalition building.
Yeah.
Every city that I've gone to, there have been no less than 5 organizations that have pulled together their resources, their leadership, their time, to be able to host whatever event it is that they're doing that we're attending. Okay. There's been no less of people passing out T-shirts, people canvassing. We've canvassed in every city. We're passing out free food in cities. We were passing out toys in Raleigh where we were, so the kids can help us volunteer to pass out the information about early voting. That's the first thing, is the coalition. The second thing is, I think this year, I've been doing election work for the last 12 years. This year, I saw a surge, and we've seen it in the numbers, a surge of early voting tactics, messaging, encouraging people to turn out as early as possible. And that's very important and key, because what we usually see is people say, make sure you vote on November 3rd, make sure you vote on November 3rd. Our people cannot literally and physically afford to show up on November 3rd.
No.
We have to do it when it works for us. I was at the polling place tonight, and then I spoke to Dream Defenders. Shout out to Dream Defenders in Florida.
Yeah,
I was on a panel with them.
Yeah, that's my crew. Yeah.
Listen, I started with Dream Defenders back in 2011. Those are my people. And when they call me, I will always be there. I just did a panel with them. They had over 70 young people on the call talking about the excitement that they've seen. But the strategy that we have to have is making sure that we're telling people to do it as early as possible. Now that timeline is kind of coming to an end, because it's it's almost 9 o'clock.
Right.
Tomorrow, the strategy is make sure you are always in community with your people, because we know that there's nothing nonviolent about what's going to happen tomorrow. We've seen threats. We've seen the commander-in-chief has already said he's going to declare a victory before all of the ballots are even counted. So there is going to be issues tomorrow, and we have to remain in community. We have to remain organized and educated. I got to remind my people, even though it sounds dumb, it's not. I got to remind people that they have to read. We can't show up to the polls tomorrow and not know the rules of the elections, not know who it is that we're voting for, not know what the referendums on the ballot are. We have to be able to make sure that we are reading the information as smart people, not so that we can play into the system, but so that we understand the rules of the system. That's key for us to know for tomorrow. And the third thing is the reminder. You just did it when we started, which is why I want to thank you again. I've been doing this work for this election since last October. I'm tired, okay? I can't wait till this is over. But our responsibility to support each other, to love on each other, to congratulate each other, we have to do that now, because we can't wait until after a candidate or a referendum passes or doesn't pass for us to appreciate one another. All of us have been doing really important work. You've opened up the platform. We've had these conversations. You're working with Until Freedom and folks on the ground and Dream Defenders, etc. Our job is to make sure that we are loving and supporting each other in the process. All of that is what I've seen on the ground. People loving on each other, people reading and getting educated about the rules. We've been bringing people to the polling location and bringing them back home. And the only thing that I want us to do more of is I want us to have more conversations right now about passing the baton and continuing the work. Mm-hmm. It does not stop tomorrow. Like you said, tomorrow is step one. Mm-hmm. We get to break. Everybody gets to take a nap. Enjoy the daylight savings time extra hour we just got. But after that, we got to make sure that we remember to engage the communities that we went to ask them to show up for our people. We can't ask people to turn out tomorrow and vote and then disappear until the primaries or disappear until the next midterm election. That is irresponsible as organizers and as leaders. We have to have these conversations about politics all year long. We got to make politics easy for people to understand. And it doesn't start or end on election day. It's 365 days a year.
And would you agree that making the connection on policy and politics to people, governance and campaigning to people, making them see the interrelationship is key? Because a lot of people don't see the differences in that relationship and how we have to be the lobbyists for our community. And while we have NAN and NAACP and Urban League, those are national organizations that we have to also use our own individual support of those organizations and our own might to hold folk accountable.
You're absolutely right. It's interpersonal, it's personal, it's cultural, right? We have to, folks should know, just as easy as we know, I know what time a TV show series is about to start. Just as easy as we know whatever it is that we are in love with, that we have fun with. We have to know also that there are 11 attorney generals who are up for election this year.
Yeah.
There are 10 governors who are up for election this year. There are 7 state secretaries who decide all the rules about elections. Stacey Abrams in her midterm election lost to a guy who ran against her who served as Secretary of State because he got to control all the rules. Right. So we have to know who the Secretary of State is. Daniel Cameron, I was in Louisville, Kentucky for a month and a half. Daniel Cameron, who was the Attorney General over at Breonna Taylor's case, actually Tamika Palmer, her mother is here with us now in Detroit. He literally is an elected position. And so we have the power, right, to take care of what we need to take care of in advance so that we are able to get what we want later in the future. And it should be just that simple, but it has to be cultural. It has to be personal. It has to be interpersonal. And it has to be, we have to be selfish with it, right? We have to be able to say that this is our vote, it's our power. And my mentor, Cortland Cox, who is a SNCC veteran, the Student Nonviolent Action Coordinating Committee, he tells me all the time, Tiffany, the vote is necessary, but it's not sufficient. The vote is a piece of the puzzle, right? And so if we're going to make it personal, that means that people have to fill out the census. People got to vote. People got to track their legislators. They got to go to city council meetings. They got to go to school board meetings. They got to go to the town hall meetings for your senator. They got to make sure they go to the police commission meetings. They got to make sure they build that in their community. And they honestly, I work at the NAACP National Director. They honestly don't need these large organizations to do that for them. What I want is for every community to do this on their own. You shouldn't need a bus tour. We got to do the bus tour because we got to build, right? We got to build power. But people, every person that's watching, whatever city you live in, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like West Philadelphia, I was there. They was like, yo, we don't even need y'all. We want you to come over, but just know when you come, we're putting y'all to work. We good. That's how it should be in every city. They should have enough power, leadership, because we got it already there. We just got to foster it and strengthen it.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. And we're going to have more dialogue. And not only is your thought processes and your work ethic sound, you know, I've been in the star business for a long time, and I truly do believe everybody can be a star, but not everybody has actually stepped into their essence of it, because sometimes they don't know how wonderful they are. And I clearly see that you know where in this moment you are, because you are a star. And I am happy. And there are other stars that are happening. And this is what I love about it. A lot of y'all on that bus, some on some different buses, and they're all agreeing to work together. And that's when you have a movement. You see, you didn't have a lot of people in the civil rights movement doing a whole lot of work. You had enough of them who were committed, that had the star in their heart and the willing to put in the work, working together.
That's all they wanted to do.
And so they just grew the movement, right? And I'm just seeing it, and I feel good. Like, I feel good to be an OG right now. I'm just, you know, girl, I lost like 15 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So I could be out there running with y'all. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. We got work to do. Always, let's get this win, because then we're at ground zero and we got to get this movement going. And we're going to keep talking, Sister Tiffany. We're going to keep talking.
I love it.
If you want to say anything imparting to the people in terms of what they need to do, give them a last shout out. So from you, because a lot of them are sending some wonderful comments on here.
I see them. I got a lot of NAACP folks in here.
I see they representing, yeah. But I mean, I see a lot of comments coming, but you know, what do you want to say as we sign off for now?
For now, what I want us to remember when we go to bed tonight is how deeply we are committed to and love our people. That's it. You know, I appreciate the compliments you gave, but at the end of the day, I do this in service to the community because I believe so deeply and love so deeply, unapologetically, Black folks, right? And if we remember that that's why we're doing this, and we're not doing it for ourselves or for a title or for a check or whatever it is, we are doing it for the people on the ground that I speak to, that I post on my Instagram, then we're going to be in the right direction no matter what. And justice is always going to meet us where we're at. So thank you again for the platform. I'm glad we're connected. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow. I'll be texting you when I get the updates, and we'll work together soon. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and before you go, you know, let me just amplify that point, because that point was so powerful to the people who are listening and will listen as we recycle this conversation. In order to really serve the people, you got to love the people. In order to be a real star, you got to be giving of what God gave you. And that makes you a star, right? And so the reason why I say you're a star is because you're giving and you're serving and you're getting that in return. So I'm so excited about not just our future as a people. I'm excited about how we're going to lead this country and lead this globe into a whole another era. And thank you so much for your service and all of your people. All
That means
right.
a lot. I'm gonna take the
Peace.
compliment. Thank you, Londell. Have
Thank
a
you.
good night,
God
bro. Be
bless.
safe.
All right.
God
Take care
bless you.
now. Now, what's happening, family? We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going. That sister Tiffany is a young, powerful sister. And, you know, she's got a lot of powerful folks with her. You know, I see someone here says, God is your president. Absolutely. God should be your president. And we're not in debate. We're not at odds with that. But, you know, the president that we're elected is the person who's supposed to work for us. They're someone who's supposed to work for us. We don't work for them. That's what this is about. Who are we hiring to work for us? And Donald Trump doesn't work well for people. He don't work well with people. He don't work well for people. And whether you like Joe Biden or not, he will work for people. We just got to make sure he's doing his job. Even if we elect this man, Biden, we have to make sure they're doing their job. I mean, hell, I got to make sure my own daughter is doing her job. And she got to make sure I'm doing my job. You know, she's got dreams and aspirations and goals. I'm busy a lot. She has to call in and say, Dad, are you on your job? Like, really, she doesn't say it that way, but that's basically what it is. So we're at a point in time, my beloveds. You know, we can talk it however we want to talk it, but we have to actually go down. We have to walk. We have to put in that vote. You already know what it is. Now, I got my man who's about to come on, you know, Hustle. Hustle's going to come on and talk a lot about Florida. But I wanted to get on with this sister, Tiffany, because I think she's a powerful sister with a powerful organization. And she's with some of my powerful brothers and sisters and friends with Tamika Mallory and my son in general. Everybody know those are my brothers and sisters, young people doing great work. And then I see all of you people here on the comment section who are friends in the movement, whether you're from the entertainment industry or you're from government, you're from the community, you're from whatever you're from. We've got to go. I see people on here like Trump 2020. I want to say something to the people too who are on Trump 2020, who half of y'all are there. Trump is doing a great job getting people to go on sites or having had people to think they have to jump on certain sites and to say certain things. You can't tell me anything that Trump has done for Black people that has made a meaningful, significant difference. You just can't. All right? Period. If you can, put it in your comments. You know, you got anybody who has got a Trump comment, say something nice about Trump and then put what he has done nice for the people. If you can't do that, I'm gonna clown you in your comment. If you support Trump and you say anything positive about Trump, put what he has done positive for Black people. I'm gonna even say this, other than wealthy white people, put what positive he has done for white people who are poor. Okay. And then someone say they're not voting, period. Okay. You're not voting, period. Really? Why? Are you under 18? But if you're not under 8, if you're over 18 and you're not voting, don't even call me no more. Not right now. Don't call me for a year. I don't want to talk to your dumb ass for a year. Okay? If that's how long it's gonna have to wear off on me before I even want to talk to you. Okay, now I saw all of the people who were supposedly sending me these Trump comments. Put what has he done for poor white people or what has he done for Black people? Put what has he done for Hispanic people? How are Hispanic people voting for Trump when he's done all of what he's done with his immigration policy and separating the babies from these people? I don't understand what people are drinking. It's not even Kool-Aid. They used to say you drinking the Kool-Aid. You're not even drinking Kool-Aid. You're not even drinking bleach. Okay? Nobody is now saying nothing Trump related right now. Because you know why? Don't put nothing on here, Trump. You see this orange behind me? We moving on from him. We moving on from Trump. I'm not trying to make jokes. I'm just saying we are moving on. Even if this man, God, hope he don't win, we still moving on. But we are going to show up, brothers and sisters, everybody, Black, white, brothers and sisters. You're my brothers and sisters in humanity. I don't care what race you are. And to my brothers and sisters of African ancestry, that's just another layer. God put us in this united time. You have to step up. I'm telling you, you got to step up. You know, I make a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a lawyer. I do what I do. I don't mind paying the taxes. I do not mind paying the taxes. Now, my media company don't make a lot of money because they discriminate against it. What has Trump done for us? Nothing. Nothing. This man will meet with some of the rappers who purport to have contracts for Black America. They don't even negotiate their own contracts. They hire people to negotiate their own contracts. How are they going to negotiate a contract for Black America? How are they going to give policy? How are they going to give advice? They don't even know the issues. Some of them can't even pronounce the issues. How are they going to give this man advice in a photo op? Like, it don't make sense. None of y'all want to get on here and have no conversations with me, because truth will blast you. Truth will blast you. I'll turn that light on crazy. But guess what? It's not about blasting anybody except going to the vote, going to the poll, and blasting off tomorrow. Let's blast off tomorrow at these polls. You know, we got to do this. You know, we got to do this. We got to get everybody out. So I'm going to have my young man, Hustle. Hustle's from Chicago right now, but he's living in LA. Hustle's from Chicago, but he's living in LA. He's going to come on. He's going to kick it with folks, call in some people, and we're going to go. You know, again, don't send no quotes up here talking about no Trump unless you're going to tell us what he's done for white people. I see a MAGA hat. What has Joseph C. O'Leary, what has Trump done for white people who are poor and Black people, period? Okay? We're not voting for that. We're not going for that, period. Don't play yourself. Don't play yourself. Okay? Where's my guy? Where's my guy, Hustle? We're going to get it going. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to put him on. You know, we're going to have a little more conversation right now. I want to get everybody out.